The Capitol building arson case has taken a new turn. We all remember, 2024 December, our entire Capitol building got engulfed in fire, and the trial has been going on for a while now. Well, last couple of well, not last week. It was a couple of days ago, actually. Um, you know, um, they were back into court again, both the prosecutors and the defendants, of course. And this time around, it was just after the medical examination that was required by the defendants to be done by an independent, medical examiners, which was granted. And this was, fired in or asked for by the defendants, you know, to prove that the evidence that they got out of some of the defendants, was not, coerced. It was forced out of them through torture and, how do you call it, other what's the word, other ways that might not be, considered legal or permissible, right? So the judge now granted them that motion, and they went and did the examination, and they some of um, the result that came, it came positive that yes, these guys were tortured during, how they call it, interrogation to get some evidence out of them. So the defendant now asked for, the judge or the court to suppress those evidence. Now, not like, like not to allow those evidence to be used in trial. Just like the way they did with the other evidence from the phones that the police got without, any warrants, right? So, um, in every, scenario that at least I would imagine, I thought that the judge or the court would be like, yeah, of course, because this is the main reason why we even ask the data to come and examine these people to find out whether these people were tortured during interrogation, right? But even though the record shows clear that yes, they were tortured during his interrogation, they just still refuse to suppress the evidence, to give the motion in the favor of the defendants. So after the judge refusal to suppress those evidence, the defendants now, they file in another motion, which I've never heard of actually, because of course I'm a mediocre. When it comes to law, I don't know anything about it actually. But I did do some reading about it. They filed in this motion they call the writ of certiorari. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Now this writ of certiorari is that when you are in a court and the court is giving a judgment that you don't feel like or you don't believe that that judgment is rightfully given, you have the right to summon or take that case from that court, or at least ask a superior court above that court that you guys are in to review the judgment of the court that you guys are in. So that motion or that act is called the writ of certiorari, right? Certiorari is like Certrorari, I believe so. Now, I've never heard of this word ever before. This is my first time actually hearing about it, but I guess that is one of the side benefit of doing a show like this, right? So yeah, they file in that motion, and they have the Supreme Court, have summoned the defendant and the prosecutors, for a conference. I think the conference is supposed to be done today, actually at 3 p.m. today, and which is the two of them or the two representatives from those two parties, they represent. I mean, the defendants and the prosecutors will go to the Supreme Court and have a conference, like talk about exactly what is going on and build their case, and the Supreme Court will now review, the judgment of the court that is, which is Criminal Court A, that is, in charge of this entire case, right? So, yeah, man, what do I think about this? I think this is a beautiful understanding of our, justice system. For me, I'm learning every day while watching this. I'm kind of, it's almost like a movie to me while just listening to it and watching what is going on, right? But at the same time, this is a very, very serious matter because there are people's lives on the line, people career and reputations are on the line. But at the same time, our justice system, not just our justice system, our entire nation was attacked in December of 2024. When somebody set ablaze our Capitol building, nobody can come up until today to tell me that that fire that started on the Capitol building in December 2024 was an accident, because everybody knew it was not an accident. It was intentional. And that is what we are trying to get to here. The prosecutors, the police are saying that it was intentional, and the people that did it are the people that are on trial right now. Well, you can't just say that. You're going to have to prove it. This is why they're going on trial. This is why they having all these court sessions and ups and downs whatsoever, because they are trying to prove that these are the culprit. And the accused culprit are saying that they are not the culprit. Well, if you guys are not the culprit, we got to find out who is then. Either it is you or it's somebody else. We, the common citizen, at least I believe that I'm speaking for the common citizen when I say this, we want to know who set ablaze the Capitol building. That's all we want to know. Whether it is Funati Kofa and people or it is John Brown and people. We don't really care who did it. We just want to know who did it and prosecute the person who did it. So this is what is happening. And now the Supreme Court is gonna, they're gonna review the judgment of Criminal Code A, by Judge Willie, led by Judge Willie, right? And they will review it and then give their verdict whether they can overrule. I think they can overrule the judgment of the Criminal Code A, or they can accept it. If the Supreme Court say yeah they're going with the judgment of the court of the Criminal Code A, then I guess that evidence would definitely be suppressed. I mean, I say definitely be suppressed. Those evidence would not be suppressed. The trial will continue. They will return back to Criminal Code A, and they will continue the trial from where they actually stopped. And yeah, man, it is what it is. Like I said, this is a huge case, but at the same time, it gives us a better insight of how our justice system actually works. People were complaining, even Kotanti Kofa and people, they were complaining when they said that they wanted a medical examiners to come and examine these people. And they were right all along that these people were tortured during their interrogation when they got arrested. The boys that are accused of actually carrying out the attack on behalf of Funati Kofa and the other representative, right? And they go examine them, medically, and they find out that yes, there are a lot of trauma that was done to them, a lot of abuse, physical abuse that was done to them during the interrogation. So I guess their call was spot on that they need to be examined, and also not just examined, they need to be examined by independent, medical examiners, which was all a very, very spot on call. But yeah, man, again, the judge allowed all these things to go on. But I'm confused. If you are going to allow all this examination to go on and the result came back positive, and then you still reject their motion to suppress the evidence, then why did you allow the examination to go on in the first place? You could have just said no, because the result came back positive, and then you how do you call it? You deny them the motion to suppress the evidence. You know what I'm saying? Like, why did you allow the examination to go on when you knew that you were not going to give them that motion anyway? Why? I don't understand that, right? But yeah, it is what it is. It is in. That's why Funati Kofa and his people and his defense team, they are taking the case to the Supreme Court to overrule the judgment of Criminal Code A. But yeah, man, that is that. This is where we are. Like I said before, I still stand my ground. I think these people, Funati Kofa and his people that are being accused of this crime, I think that they are guilty. I might be wrong. I think that they know something about it. They did it. I believe so. But I might be wrong. And I just believe that even though I think that they did it, I believe that they will walk away scot-free. Because why? The evidence that the prosecutors has, the way they get the evidence is illegal according to our, justice system, according to our laws. First they seize the phones of those people, break into their computers without any warrant to break into their privacies, right? And these are things that can be used in a court of law, especially during trial, right? And they are using all those tricks and all those assets that are available to them. When I say they, I'm talking about the defenders or the defendants. They are using all those, tricks under their sleeves to get themselves scot free. And then the same thing with the confession that they got out of some of those boys. They got some of those confessions, some of those evidence by beating the hell out of them, according to medical report. And that is also, illegal. You cannot do that. So all these two smoking guns so far in this trial, they all have question marks, especially because of the way they were acquired. And it is the case is being taken to the Supreme Court for review. And I know there is no way the Supreme Court will say, "Oh, we reject the motion." They will definitely grant the motion. They will say, "Yes, evidence have to be suppressed." Medical examination shows that these people were tortured during interrogation, which should not have been. It shouldn't be the case. It shouldn't have happened at all. Without being said, the Supreme Court will definitely grant them the motion. They will come back. Those evidence that they got out of those interrogations with those boys, those evidence will be suppressed. The other evidence that they got out of the phones and the computers without any warrant, those have been thrown out already, or they have been deemed inadmissible, right? So they're gonna have to come out with something else, and there is nothing else there unless you have CCTV footage, like clear video footage, which we all know that it's almost impossible because you have a place, a whole Capitol building, you don't have CCTV. Like, if you don't have CCTV in those places, then how is it even called? Why is it even called the Capitol building? These are supposed to be some of the most protected areas in the entire country, but you don't have one CCTV there. That's what I'm saying. I believe personally they are guilty. That Capitol building did not get on fire by itself. People set it on fire. And Funatik Kofa was very, very angry during the time it happened, because they were literally trying to uproot him from that speaker position, and he did not want to get out of it. And I feel like, one frustration led to another, and they just made that call by setting that place ablaze. Like, if I can't be the speaker yet, then nobody will be speaker, will point the whole place down. Even they can be causing each other murder, standing right in front of each other. At that same Capitol building, causing each other murder. You will do what to you, will kill you, all the kind of barbaric, hooliganic way of talking to one another, right? And if they can do that to one another, what about? Do you know that Kun even went and locked? They changed the entire lock of the how to call it, the room, or the room of the parliament, like the place where they sit down and have their how to call it, their meeting, right? Why would you change the lock to that place? Just because you are speaker doesn't mean that you can go change. And at that time, saying you were not even deemed speaker yet. You were not even legally deemed speaker yet. But I'm saying that these guys can go out of their ways to do some stupid things just because of power. And I believe it was one of those stupid things that led Kofa to decide to take that decision to set the Capitol building ablaze. And it was a capital crime, literally. It was an attack on our institution, on our constitution, on our country, and on the entire nation. And because our police, our prosecutors are very, very poor at catching criminals, we already know that. And mainly because of that fact, Funatik Kofa and the others, they will definitely walk scot-free, because all the evidence that the police get, clear evidence that these people, they did it, but the court have to suppress those evidence. The court have to make those evidence inadmissible in the trial, because the way those evidence were acquired. That's it. So they will definitely walk scot-free. Even though that they set our Capitol building on fire, they will definitely walk scot-free. That's my judgment. But we'll keep, how they call it, we'll keep updating you guys, as this story move forward. Keep in tune with us. You know what I mean? Keep in tune with us.
Like, follow, and subscribe.